This is Glo B, and today I am at the Historic Arkansas Museum in Little Rock, Arkansas. This is an excellent history lesson for your children as well as yourself as you get a guided tour of the 19th century community and what day-to-day life was like. I highly recommend this tour.
See, there's two holes right there. And those two holes going in this big room right here. You see all the smoke on this area? It's just pouring in there. Well, not right now because I've had to move this a little bit. We've got to keep the fire going. What we've done is we've got a pork shoulder.
Oh.
We got part of a ham, and we got pork belly in there. And we've been smoking it for over a month. And before we did that, we cured it in salt. We put it in a big barrel or a big thing of salt. We did it in the serve safe manner. So we did it on the inside in the refrigerator. We took out as much of that water in there as we could, cured it for about a month. They would have just put it in a big old barrel. Then we put it in here on racks, and we're pouring as much smoke as we can in there. You see how I'm losing it right there? And this opening actually covers that. But we're pouring as much smoke as we can in there because what that's going to do is that's going to create, one, it's going to permeate the meat. It's going to give it a nice smoky flavor. But it's also going to create a layer of soot around it. So it acts like a packaging. And so once this is done in about, I'd say about 15 days, we're gonna go in there, we're gonna test it. It's gotta be about the firmness of a well-done steak. And then, if we leave it like it is, and put a little smoke on here every once in a while, it'll last about a year. And once you cut into it, you break that wrapper. And what happens when you break that wrapper? You use it or you freeze it. They wouldn't have had a chance to freeze it. So once they cut something off, they would have used it. Or they would have poured more smoke on it and built themselves a new wrapper. And if there's a little bit of mold on it, what do they do with that? They just spray it right on off. Now today, Casey does a lot of smoking. Yeah. And today, what we do is we smoke and we add heat at the same time. So we're cooking it while infusing it with that smoky flavor. Now when this comes out of here and you're ready to cook it, you're gonna cut the wrapper off of the outside. You're going to cut that layer of salt and soot off, and then you're going to put it in water for about an hour or two, maybe a little bit longer, to rehydrate it and take some of the salt out, and then you're going to cook it.
Our goal is that the heat will escape the stovepipe and the smoke goes into the room. We're not adding any heat, so it's the same temperature out here as it is in that room.
Some people call this a cold smoke. I know, and I call it ambient temperature. Because the temperature is about the same in that room as it is outside, maybe a few degrees more.
So in theory, we can put cheese in there and it won't melt.
In theory, in practice, we've done it.
And in practice, we do it.
And we'll put stuff like pecans in there too, because we'll infuse it with those with nice smoky flavor. But you got to have an oily cheese, and you got to have whatever the nuts that you're using, like pecans and things, have to have enough oil to take the smoke.
Snuck in the back door. Back here would be a clerk ready to sell you pretty much anything he thought he could make $1 off of. William Woodruff had the first lending library for the state of Arkansas, so for 2 bits you could borrow a book, get your money back if you brought your book back. He could sell you inkwells, locks, journals, parchment, pretty things, quills. He was an avid winemaker. He could sell you the wine he made. He's also known for selling the mail.
Selling the mail?
You ever seen a free Civil War mailbox? That don't exist. Prior to that conflict, you paid to get your mail rather than to send it. So what's missing? Stamps. So there's a price at the top. So say you guys have an awesome time today. You go back to your hometown. You want to write a letter to your new best friend in Little Rock. You go to the postmaster of your town, write out your letter. He would send it to the postmaster of Little Rock. In this case, William Woodruff, proprietor of the shop. He would see how far it had traveled and price it accordingly. Now here's the funny thing. In 250 years, our postal habits haven't changed much. When's the last time you went to the post office? a couple of months ago. Yeah, some people go once a week, some people once a year. It's not a common thing, and same thing back then. So you usually weren't picking up a letter, you were usually picking up a stack. And you have the right as an American citizen to say, I don't like that person, I'm not paying for it. So this was money the postal system was losing. Hoping you came to get it, hoping you paid for it. A lot of common times, people use shorthand in their addresses. For those of you my age, and you understand shorthand is kind of like cursive. For those of you who've never heard of it, the best modern example I have for kids is, what does LOL stand for? Laugh out loud. TTYL. Talk to you later. People would put shorthand in their addresses. And so they could see their letter. I don't want to pay for that. And they saw Cousin James, baby boy. And they were cheating the system. Right? So this was money the postal system was losing hand over fist. So after the 1860s, when the North and South rejoined, the Civil War was over, the postal system officially switched. And you started paying to send your mail rather than to get it.